Last class I have explained you about the importance of RTD. RTD is nothing but it is a temperature sensor. It converts the temperature into an voltage signal or current signal. So generally temperature sensor is nothing but it is a one type of transducer. So let us assume our Prime Minister is considered as RTD and the Chinese President is considered as CPU. Assume that our Prime Minister knows only Hindi and Chinese President knows only Chinese. It means Chinese means CPU knows only binary values, ones and zeros. So RTD knows only analog values, analog signal, or it may be a voltage signal or current signal. So this analog value is equivalent to Hindi and binary value is equivalent to Chinese. So he knows only Hindi and he knows only Chinese. So how to make them communicate? I think it is a difficult task, right? So it is only for understanding purpose. So one idea is, let us introduce the translator. So I hope you know the place very well. It is a Mahabalipuram where our Prime Minister met Chinese President and he is the translator, and Mr. Madhusudanan, he knows Chinese as well as Hindi very well. So here your RTD is our Prime Minister and in between your CPU and RTD we are introducing one more hardware. The hardware is acting as a translator. So that translator, what is the purpose of translator? So our Prime Minister, he delivers the message in own language, or it may be he delivers the message in Hindi. The translator, it converts that message into Chinese and finally he give it to Chinese President. So similarly your RTD, it produces the signal, a voltage signal or current signal. It is an analog signal. That analog signal is given to your analog input module. That analog signal is converted into digital values because your CPU knows only ones and zeros or binary values. So your RTD producing time varying signal, or it may be voltage or current, that is given to the translator or converter or analog input module. That because why it is called analog input module? Because it accepts the analog input. That's why it is analog input module. The input signal is analog. So it converts that analog signal into the equivalent digital values. So these digital values are given to CPU. So ultimately your analog input module, this module acts as an A to D converter. That means analog to digital converter, because the input is an analog signal, time varying signal. The output is ones and zeros, digital value. That's why the module is known as analog to digital converter. So here the converted digital values will be stored in the PLC data register. PLC means it is one type of controller like a microprocessor and microcontroller. So this analog value is given to your analog input module. It converts that analog input signal into digital values. Those digital values are stored in the data registers or the registers present in the microprocessor or controller. And this is our final view. We are measuring the temperature, we are sensing the temperature from the boiler using RTD. This signal, your RTD produces voltage signal or current signal. Ultimately it is an analog signal or time varying signal that cannot be directly given to your CPU. So in between there is a translator or interpreter or converter. It is known as analog input module, that is given to analog input. It converts that analog signal into binary values, and those binary signals or digital signals are given to PLC. This binary signal is stored in the data registers. It is D100, okay, D100. D means data registers. So how the temperature is stored inside the PLC means, if the boiler temperature is 0 degree Celsius, then your RTD will produce 0 volt. Then the 16-bit digital value will be 0000. So in the data register you will get 0. Suppose if the temperature is 50 degree Celsius, then RTD will produce 5 volt. Temperature sensor output is 5 volt. Then the equivalent binary digital value will be like this. This value will be stored in the data register D100. The value will be 8000, equivalent decimal value. Similarly, all the temperatures are stored in the data registers. Remaining thing we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.